Welcome to Voice Within, a place where words heal, inspire, and help us grow quietly. Have you ever wondered why some people work hard all their lives, yet never seem to get ahead, while others seem to build wealth almost naturally? What separates the rich from the poor? Is it luck, education, or something else? Robert Kiyosaki once faced this same question. He grew up with two fathers, one educated and hardworking, the other not highly educated but financially wise. One was his real dad, a man who believed in job security, good grades, and a stable salary. The other was his friend's dad, a man who believed in building wealth, taking risks, and letting money work for you. This story isn't just about money. It's about mindset, how your thoughts shape your financial destiny and your life. So sit back, listen closely, and let's explore the powerful lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Chapter 1. Two Fathers, Two Voices. Robert Kiyosaki grew up hearing two completely different philosophies. His poor dad, a highly educated man, often said, "Go to school, get good grades, find a secure job." His rich dad, who never finished 8th grade, said something very different. "Learn how money works, make money work for you." Both men were intelligent, both cared for Robert, but their advice pointed in opposite directions. One focused on security, the other on freedom. One saw money as something to earn and save. The other saw it as a tool to create opportunities. And slowly, Robert realized, it's not the amount of money you make, it's how you think about money that matters.
Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money. When Robert was only 9 years old, he asked his rich dad to teach him how to be rich. Rich Dad smiled and said, "Of course, but first you'll have to work for me." Robert and his friend Mike worked in one of Rich Dad's stores for just 10 cents an hour. They felt cheated. The job was boring. The pay was tiny. One day, Robert couldn't take it anymore. He marched to Rich Dad's office and shouted, "You're not teaching me anything. You're using me." Rich Dad laughed. "Good," he said. "Most people quit when life pushes them. That's why they never grow. You've just met your first lesson. Don't let money control your emotions." Then he added, "The poor work for money. The rich make money work for them." From that day, Robert learned that if you chase money, you'll always be its slave. But if you learn how to control it, money becomes your servant. Lesson 2. The power of financial education. Schools teach us how to earn money, but not how to manage it. You can be a doctor, lawyer, or engineer and still struggle financially. Why? Because financial literacy, understanding assets, liabilities, and cash flow is the foundation of wealth. Rich Dad explained it simply. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. The poor and middle class often buy liabilities, thinking they're assets. Fancy cars, big houses, new phones. But the rich buy assets. Investments that grow in value and bring in income even while they sleep. Robert realized, you can only become truly free when you understand money.
Chapter 2. The Fear and the Greed Trap. Most people are controlled by two emotions, fear and desire. Fear keeps you working for money, afraid to take risks, afraid to fail. Desire makes you spend what you earn, always chasing the next thing that promises happiness. And that's how the system works. People study hard, get jobs, earn money, spend it, then work harder again. It's a cycle, not of growth, but of dependence. Rich Dad told Robert, "If you let emotions control your thinking, you'll always live someone else's life. Learn to use your mind to control your emotions." That was the moment Robert started seeing money as a game of intelligence, not emotion. Lesson 3. Mind your own business. Most people spend their lives building someone else's dream. They work for companies, pay taxes, buy things, and wonder why they're stuck. Rich Dad's advice was simple but powerful. Mind your own business. That doesn't mean quit your job immediately. It means start building something of your own, even while you work for others. Invest in yourself. Start a side hustle. Learn skills that multiply your income. Because wealth doesn't come from your paycheck. It comes from your mindset and ownership. Chapter 3. Work to learn, not to earn. When you work only for money, you limit your growth. But when you work to learn, you build something no one can take from you: skills. Robert learned sales, communication, investing, marketing, everything his rich dad could teach him. Each skill became a brick in the foundation of his freedom. Rich Dad said, "Don't specialize too early. Learn how every part of a business works." That's how Robert became not just an employee, but an entrepreneur. Because the more you know, the less you fear. And when fear fades, confidence rises. Lesson 4. Overcoming the rat race. The rat race, it's that endless cycle where you work, earn, spend, and repeat. People buy bigger houses, new cars, expensive lifestyles, and end up trapped by the very things they thought would make them happy. Rich Dad taught Robert how to escape. He said, "Build assets that earn money for you even when you sleep." That could be real estate, stocks, or even intellectual property. But the most powerful asset is your mind. The more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger your mind, the freer your life. Chapter 4. The True Definition of Wealth. True wealth isn't measured by money. It's measured by freedom. The ability to live life on your own terms. Rich Dad once asked, "If you stopped working today, how long could you survive?" That question changed everything for Robert. He realized wealth isn't about income, it's about time. The rich buy time, the poor sell it. And when you understand that, your priorities change. You stop working just to earn. You start working to build. Robert had two dads, one who said, "I can't afford it," and one who said, "How can I afford it?" One closed his mind with doubt. The other opened it with possibility. Today, you have the same choice. You can let fear and excuses shape your life, or you can take one step toward financial freedom. Because, in the end, wealth begins not in your wallet, but in your mind.
Part 2. The 6 Lessons That Change Everything. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki shared 6 powerful lessons that can change how you think about money and life. These aren't just lessons about finance, they are lessons about mindset, courage, and growth. Let's explore each one and learn how to speak, think, and act like the rich, step by step. Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money. This is where everything begins. The poor and middle class work for money. The rich learn how money works and make it work for them. Money is not your master, it's your tool. Repeat this simple line aloud. Money works for me. Now again, slower and with confidence. Money works for me. When you speak like this, you train both your mind and your mouth to believe it. Rich Dad once said, "Don't trade your time for money forever. Learn how to multiply it." That's the key to freedom. Lesson 2. Why teach financial literacy? Financial literacy means understanding the language of money. Do you know what an asset is? It's something that puts money into your pocket. And a liability? It takes money out of your pocket. Repeat this with me. Assets feed me. Liabilities drain me. Most people confuse the two. They buy a car thinking it's an asset, but it costs them more every month. They buy a house too big for their income and end up working harder to keep it. Rich people think differently. They first buy assets, investments, skills, or ideas that bring income. The lesson? Learn the difference. Speak it. Live it.
Lesson 3. Mind your own business. Your job may give you money, but your business gives you freedom. Even if you work for someone today, you can start building something of your own. A small idea, a digital skill, a content channel, or an investment habit. Rich Dad said, "Don't spend your life building other people's dreams. Build your own." Practice this sentence in English. I am building my own future. Say it again. I am building my own future. Every time you say it, it becomes more real. This is not arrogance, it's self-respect. You are not just a worker, you are a creator. Lesson 4. The history of taxes and the power of corporations. The poor and middle class pay taxes. The rich find legal ways to minimize them through corporations and smart investments. Rich Dad explained that corporations are like invisible shields. They protect your income and help your money grow. For example, the poor earn, get taxed, then spend. The rich earn, spend through their company, then pay tax on what's left. It's not about cheating. It's about understanding the rules of the game. Repeat this line. I must learn how the game works. Because in life, if you don't learn the rules, you'll always play for someone else's team.
Lesson 5. The rich invent money. Money doesn't disappear. It moves to the people who know how to create opportunities. Rich Dad believed that creativity is more important than money. You don't need to have money to start. You need to see differently. Opportunities are everywhere, in books, online, in conversations. But most people don't see them because they're too afraid to fail. Repeat after me. Opportunities are everywhere. I am ready to see them. The rich invent money by seeing what others ignore and acting when others hesitate. Remember, confidence creates chances. Fear kills them. Lesson 6. Work to learn. Don't work to earn. This is one of the deepest lessons in the book. Rich Dad told Robert, "The most powerful asset you have is your mind. Train it well." When you work just to earn money, you stop growing. But when you work to learn, every experience becomes valuable. Learn sales, learn communication, learn leadership. Even if the job doesn't pay much, it pays you in knowledge. Say this aloud. Every skill I learn makes me richer. Each new skill is a door, and someday those doors will lead to freedom. Chapter 5. Overcoming Fear and Doubt. Everyone feels fear, even the rich, but they move through it, not away from it. Poor Dad would say, "Be careful." Rich Dad would say, "Be bold, but be smart." Fear will never disappear, but courage grows when you take small steps forward. Repeat slowly. I act even when I'm afraid. Confidence isn't born in success. It's born in action.
Chapter 6. The Start of True Freedom. At the end of the book, Robert looks back and realizes both fathers gave him a gift. One taught him the value of education. The other taught him the power of financial freedom. And between them, he found balance. He learned that real wealth isn't just money. It's time, it's peace, it's choice. So today, remember this. You don't need to be born rich. You just need to learn to think rich. Repeat one last time. I am learning to think rich. Start small. Read, learn, build. Your mind is your greatest investment. And one day, the world will call you lucky, but you'll know you were simply prepared. Now that we've explored the lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, let's talk about how to make them real in your daily life. Not just in money, but in your mind, speech, and habits. Because true wealth begins with self-awareness. 1. Change how you think about money. Rich Dad once told Robert, "You can't solve money problems with the same thinking that created them." That means your first job is not to earn, it's to relearn. Money isn't evil. Money is power, when used with wisdom. Speak this with me clearly. Money is a servant, not a master. Say it again with calm strength. Money is a servant, not a master. This simple sentence changes your relationship with wealth. You no longer chase it, you guide it. The poor say, "I can't afford it." The rich ask, "How can I afford it?" That small question opens the mind to creativity and growth. Every time you face a challenge, ask, "How can I make this possible?" You'll be amazed by the answers your mind starts to find. 2. Train your inner voice. Your inner voice is your real teacher. If your self-talk is full of fear,
"I'm not good with money," or "I'll never learn this," then you've already lost the game before it starts. But when you train your mind to speak differently, you start to feel differently, and you start to act differently. Repeat after me slowly. I'm learning something new every day. I can manage my money wisely. Notice how your confidence rises as you speak. Because words are not just sounds, they are instructions to your mind. When you change your language, you change your reality. 3. Build habits that build wealth. You don't become rich by one big action. You become rich by repeating small actions, consistently. That's why Robert Kiyosaki said, "It's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep." Create daily money habits. Track your spending. Read one page about investing, or listen to one financial podcast. Small habits compound over time, just like interest. Repeat this English pattern with me. Small habits create big results. I am consistent every day. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's powerful. It's how ordinary people build extraordinary lives. 4. Learn, speak, and teach. When you learn something valuable, teach it to someone else. Teaching helps you remember, understand, and express ideas better, especially in English. If you're improving your English while learning about mindset, try this method from Voice Within. Step 1. Watch, listen, and pause. Step 2. Repeat the important lines aloud. Step 3. Explain what you learned in your own words. That's not just English practice, it's financial education with confidence training. Every time you speak what you learn, your voice becomes stronger, and your thoughts become clearer. Remember, silence your doubt, not your growth. Conclusion. The real meaning of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So what's the message behind Rich Dad, Poor Dad? It's not just about making money. It's about mastering your mindset. Poor Dad taught security. Rich Dad taught freedom. One said, "Study hard to get a good job." The other said, "Study hard to own your future." And somewhere in between, Robert Kiyosaki realized the rich and the poor are separated not by income, but by mindset. It's the difference between saying, "I can't," and asking, "How can I?" Between waiting for chances and creating them. Between living in fear and living with purpose. So as you finish this video, remember this final truth. The richest person is not the one with the most money, but the one with the most freedom. And freedom begins with knowledge. Knowledge grows through practice, and practice builds your voice. Repeat this one last time. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm free.